For today's devotion, we'll be coming from Romans 5, verses 3 through 5. And I also kind of reference James 1, verses 2 through 4. Let's see what Romans 5 says. It says this: "Not only that, but we rejoice in our sufferings, knowing that suffering produces endurance, and endurance produces character, and character produces hope, and hope does not put us to shame, because God's love has been poured out into our hearts through the Holy Spirit who has been given to us." If you know anything about James and who he was writing to dispersed Christians who had believed in the Christian message. They were once Jews and believed in the Christian message, and because of it, began to experience suffering and persecution. And James' response to them was to count it all joy. And then he goes along the lines of what Romans 5 says, in sharing how suffering is actually producing something. What we know is that God shapes us in the midst of our brokenness. He uses broken people and the broken pieces in our lives to build his kingdom and reveal his glory. But the one thing that we've got to hold on to as we're going through suffering is knowing that suffering is temporary, but God's kingdom and glory are infinitely eternal, and that we can find hope in the midst of our suffering and know that something far more beautiful is being established because of it. I always think about how diamonds are formed. And diamonds are formed at high temperatures with a lot of pressure in order for anything of beauty to ever be seen. You need the pressure and you need the fire. So as we go through fiery trials, as we go through suffering, as we go through those moments where we experience a lot of pressure, we must never forget that that's what diamonds are made of. For the believer, it's opportunities for us to shine the light of Christ and reflect his truth to the world. So be encouraged today in knowing that what you're going through may not be the result or punishment of sin, but it might be the building of your character and to sanctify your life. Choosing to remain in the process and to be in the fire is the exact things that we need to be able to trust God and to trust his work. We begin to trust him more the more we begin to go through those things, because only he can get us out of those things. And what it also does is that it establishes his promise to be with us, to help us, and to reflect his glory. See, the promise is Jesus, and the promise is God's presence through the Holy Spirit to be with us as we go through these hard times. We may be crushed, but we are not destroyed. Salute.